Hello. Hello. No. Hello. Hi. Recording. Okay.
Did you put it down?
Yes, I did.
Yes. Do a little mute there. Yeah, or Carol, I think, has a bit of that.
I'm gonna mute.
Here we go.
I'm gonna mute you. Sorry, Carol.
I'm super excited that everyone has showed up today to meet or work with Julia Stege today. She is one of my dearest friends who I met through work, like she was saying, in 2014. And Julia is so talented in this sneaky kind of way that maybe you wouldn't first recognize because she's so fun and authentic. But here is what has happened since I met Julia. So I was into my second business when I met Julia, only a few months in. I had no branding. I had no nothing going on. And since meeting Julia, every time I talk to her, my entire perspective changes. Like, she just has this knack for seeing inside of you for who you are. That's a little bit scary sometimes, and drawing that out into the light in the best possible way so your clients can resonate with it, and really you can draw in your perfect ideal clients to work with you. So that is what I think one of Julia's biggest gifts is. And what I will say is, since meeting Julia, and I worked with her on a branding package to pull some messaging and some graphics and all those things together. Since doing that with Julia, I immediately up-leveled the type of clients that I was attracting, both in terms of they loved me and got really great results working with me, but also that they did the work and they were excited about the transformation that they were going to get and all those things. And all that comes down to the work that I did with Julia early on in that business. And so I'm so blessed and pleased that she's going to be here for you today to share her insights. So thank you, Julia.
Thank you, Tammy. You're very sweet. When I met Tammy, she was a shark bait at the Joint Venture Insiders Circle event, JVX. And you have to be you have to have a really good program, and you have to be really smart, and then kind of have your act together to even be a shark bait. So Tammy was really fun, and everyone was really excited about what she offered too. So she's very modest. So I'm going to show some slides today. I want to talk about, it's really all about authentic marketing and how to make your website wildly attractive to your tribe. And so let me see if I can share my screen. Just a sec here. You're going to have to bear with me a little bit. I'm not used to doing Zoom. Let's see, slideshow from beginning. Oh, wait. Now it makes it so I can't see anything, so hold on a second. Oh, and when I do this, I'm not going to be able to see people joining. Does anyone know if there's a way I can change that setting? No, probably not at this point.
You might be able to make me a co-host in the panel of, if you look at the participants, Julia.
Mm-hmm.
Is there an option there to make me a co-host?
Make host.
Yep.
Okay, so then you can see if people are coming in?
I should be able to, yeah.
Okay, great. Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Huh. Wait a second. Whenever I do that, it makes it so I can't access anything. Okay. Now, hold on.
They're going to come in automatically now, Julia.
Oh, thank you. All right. Are you seeing that my slides now?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. There we are. Aren't we cute together? And I want to make sure, and we are still recording, right? All right. So I want you to imagine, just like kind of, let's get into the space, because this is really about law of attraction. And often when we're thinking about our website, we go into this reactionary, like kind of like I'm scared, or I don't know what to do, or it's not working, for blah, or some kind of negative emotion. And what we want to do is we want to imagine what we desire, the best result that we could have from our website. That's what we want to kind of think about. So imagine that your website is such a beautiful resonant reflection of you that your perfect customers get you and they feel gotten by you before you've even met. Is that something that you even imagined was possible? Like-minded souls from around the world reach out to connect with you and find out how they can work with you. And you know exactly how to share your business in a way that's authentic, self-expressive, and you make more money because you're more attractive. We're like, this is what life is like, right? That would be great. This is actually what happens to me, and I've figured it out over the last, 20 years. What mostly happens is this, okay? So you have a big mission to share with the world, you have this great offering, but then they see your website and they're like, or they just bounce off, okay? So this is what they say, just let me take a little nap. And this is us. So that even in those rare cases where we're attracting our perfect customers, we're not converting them, right? So if they don't get you in and your value, nothing happens. And this can be really frustrating. And it can make you have a financial glass ceiling, which we used to blame our bosses for, but you can't anymore because we are our own boss. And so what are we going to do about this? We got to not do this. Now, wouldn't you rather magically attract your clients from around the world, ones that like you love and they love you? And I use Iyanla Vanzant as an example because she was an example of a client I attracted by the way I'm going to talk to you today. And she was my perfect ideal client that resulted in multiple other clients after her, but also just brought my business to a different level when Iyanla worked with me, and then she got her own show on Oprah. So let me introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. Tammy gave a little introduction. I'm Julia Stege. I'm the magical marketer, and my purpose is to help you express your purpose through your marketing so that you can attract your tribe. And I feel like that's how we're going to change the world with our cutting edge offerings and ways that we have to help other people. I want to help you to express what's most important to you, and attract those exact right people that'll help you move your thing forward. So why listen to me? Okay, who are you? She's a friend of Tammy. But also, I have been creating websites since 1997. I was a graphic designer since 1982, so I'm aging myself, but I've been creating brands for people since a very long time ago, almost 40 years. Pretty much 40 years, though, if you include my family, which I did some stuff for when I was a teenager. And started doing websites in the late 90s and have done like hundreds of websites since then. I've attracted 40,000 or so aligned followers online and made over, it's really a 1.5 million or something like that total by just being my artistic self. This is all about authentic marketing. And I love my clients. Look, there's Tammy and me. That was back in 2014. And I've helped a lot of cool people. I love my clients and I've attracted amazing people. This is like Julia Butterfly Hill, who was in a tree for 2 years in Humboldt County. I don't know if anyone remembers that. But she was just a big environmentalist. Iyanla Vanzant, who now has her show, Iyanla Fix My Life. I literally wrote down I wanted to attract her, and 2 weeks later she called me. Cafe Gratitude, maybe if you've been to LA and you're a vegan, you've heard of Cafe Gratitude. Suzanne Falter, who ran Spiritual Marketing Quest. Here's Rich Gurman, the founder of Joint Venture Insider Circle, and of course, Tammy Lane. When I was starting my career in Manhattan in the early 80s, I thought, if I love it, if I can make it there, I can make it anywhere, like Frank Sinatra sings. And I got a real wake-up call when I was in Manhattan and discovered that marketing was all about brainwashing, hyping, and lying to people. So I was working for places like Burger King, and I thought, Banks and Burger King, that was not my scene. Maybe if I were into entertainment, that would be better. And so Carnegie Hall, HBO, Museum of Modern Art. But then I found out that it's all like a lot of posing, a lot of egoic stuff, and just a lot all about like the money, and everyone was selling their soul to just the highest bidder. And I nearly had a nervous breakdown. So I left Manhattan, and I drove west to go live with my best friend and really discover a more authentic life. And so I'll spare you all the last, 25 years, but if we condense it into a little, like, what did I learn over the last 25 years? And that is that marketing is fun, okay? So if you think marketing is terrible and boring and you don't like it and you're just resisting it, it can be fun and it can be fulfilling. It can fulfill you, and it can be sustainable, something that you can do forever when it reflects your purpose. So if you can discover who you really are and what you're about in the world, and then reflect that through your marketing, you will not only attract people that are aligned with you, but you'll also just have a much better time at it. And so then the question is, what's your world-changing message? What is the message that you have for the world that if they hear it, even if they never work with you, it can change their life? And one of my world-changing messages, your authentic self is the most attractive thing about you. We are always told, like, fake it till you make it, or you got to pretend to be slick and this and that and the other thing. But I'm saying the opposite. Being yourself is way more fun, okay? And like Tammy was saying earlier, you attract people that actually like you, instead of that liked some fake marketing that you did. And then when they meet you in person, they're like, really?
Can I just dive in there for 1 second?
Yeah, please do.
This is one of the things why I brought Julia to you guys, is because when you watch some of the other people out there, you see this perfect video and this perfect picture, and they've created this image that's not really truly authentically them.
Right.
And when you see me on camera, you'll see I'm not perfect and I am not smooth with my words or any of those things, but that is one of the reasons why I convert better than pretty much anyone in the industry, because people are kind of done with that whole perfectly coiffed, all that perfectness.
Right.
And it brings and helps you bring out that authentic piece in you. And that's why, and it's such a relief not to have to shoot the perfect video or any of those things. And so that's why I just wanted to dive in there, Julia.
And also, I mean, we will wait years till we get it perfect. And literally, I have done that. I'll have to say, where I've waited years before I come out with something because I want it to be perfect. And so that just is ridiculous. We're not perfect. And we're not always, you know, people are actually realizing, people are more astute. They understand that you're not real if you're coming off as perfect. So the essential key to attracting your most divinely aligned soul tribe online is authenticity. In fact, you won't attract them unless you're authentic. They won't recognize you. So often marketers will talk about people finding you, but they never discuss, will they recognize you when they find you? They need to recognize you as being aligned with them and as somebody that they would actually want to work with. Be yourself. Everyone else has already taken Oscar Wilde. I kind of look like him now with my new hairdo. I don't have a big ring. Okay. So let's get into what we're gonna cover today. We're gonna talk about why your website isn't attracting the right people, which, you know, is a big question mark for most. Like, what? Why? What it takes to engage your tribe online, and how to reduce that terrible bounce rate I talked about, where people come to your site and they go, I don't know what this is, and they leave within 2 seconds. And I'm going to talk about a secret ingredient for communicating with your tribe on a soul level online. Because when we're in person, you know, we're looking at somebody in the eye, they can actually see into you, and they get these like intuitive hits about you. But how do you do that online? There's a secret ingredient. And we're going to look at what you may be resisting that could make or break the success of your site. And then the 5 magical keys to your wildly attractive website. So I want to let you guys know that I'm opening my calendar for 6 private website review sessions. They're valued at $500 each. And it's a deep dive into your what's going on with your website. So stay tuned for how you can win one of those sessions.
I'll dive in there too.
Okay.
I paid Julia to do this for me. So I highly recommend if you get the chance that you do that. The insights that she brings out in a very short period of time are really, really incredible. So diving in.
Thank you. So why isn't your website attracting the right people? Well, do you know who your right people are, right? If you are resisting defining who your perfect customer is because you just serve everyone, then there's a problem with that, because you can't really address the people that your tribe, if you're trying to talk to everyone. It sort of waters down everything that you do when you just kind of throw a wide net. And I've been doing this for so long that I kind of gradually figured out my tribe, but my tribe has always been my tribe. It's like the same people that I found when I was in high school. So when I was in private school, I had a hard time making friends. Okay, I did have some friends by the end. By like the 8th year I was there, I made some good friends, but I just didn't find my tribe, right? I didn't fit in at all. Then I went to public school where there were many more people, and I found what was called the freak section. And I'm sharing this because those ended up being my, my clients. And what do I mean by the freak section? Well, this was where people were, what we might call hippies now, but they're like, they were down to earth and they were creative and they were into reading books and they were into philosophy and they had some kind of new way of doing things. Who is your tribe? Do you remember ever finding your tribe? Like finding a group that you really felt like you were a part of that group. What were some of those qualities and characteristics and attributes of those people? And you can write down this URL, just www.getstap.com to get what I call the Soul Tribe Attraction Playbook to basically figure out who you're attracting and what you're attracting. In fact, it actually does a lot more than that, but let's just keep it simple and say it helps you to define who your tribe is. And so I did my attraction plan, and I wrote on my attraction plan that I wanted to attract a Jan Levanzant, and then she came to me, and I asked her how she found me, and she said, I saw that word magical next to that word marketing, and I had to click it, which was just sort of amazing. Why was that amazing? That she confirmed my own process, which is find words. I call them your tick words or your soul words. Find words that reflect your soul, put them next to your offering, and that's what you should name your business. And she was confirming that that's exactly why she clicked on. She found it irresistible. She had to click when it said magical marketing because she didn't know what that could possibly be. She needed to know. And once she found me, she knew that I was the one. A lot of people were offering her like free help, but she didn't go with them because we were really aligned. Now she's got her own show on Oprah. And also how I attracted Suzanne Falter. So I put on my attraction plan, I want to attract somebody who is a spiritual marketer who has a lot of high-end clients that he wants to send to me for a website. Because really, there's very few people in the world who do websites from a spiritual perspective. So it's really hard for these clients to find anyone. And I swear it wasn't that long after I wrote it on my attraction plan where I got a call from Suzanne Falter saying that she was referred to me, that she had a bunch of clients that needed a more spiritual approach to website design. And she ended up sending me 20 clients. So you can put that on your attraction plan, that you're attracting people who can bring you other clients, right? Michelle, this is a client of mine. Once she started doing the attraction plan and her branding more authentically, she sold more DVDs in 1 month than she had in the previous 3 years. So I love when you get great results from just being you. And then when we did her site, which I think I'll show you later, she felt like not only was she getting better results, she just was able to be more authentic as a person. Okay. So the second question we have here is, why aren't your website visitors inspired to engage with you? Right? So what about that bounce rate? Like they're coming there and they're not doing anything. So this comes down to branding too. So a lot of people think that there's some mysterious technical things that happen on a website. Websites are very simple. They're like a framework with pictures and text stuck on them. That's pretty much it. And then programmers know how to stick them all together. Really, that's about it. What is really more important than that is your brand message. What do you say when people ask you what you do, and how do you project that on your website? And what mostly happens, and I hear, because I ask people, what do you do? Like when I talk to people, when I do, let's say, a website analysis, what do you do? And they take, 20 minutes to tell me. And what they're telling me is, well, I've got 30 years of experience of doing this, and then I recently got this certificate, and so now I'm going to add that in, and I do this other thing, and I'm the only person in the world that combines these things in this way, and I've also have, and it goes on like that. We're just trying to add up, well, these are all the things that I've done. And what happens is that people get bored. So if you do that on your website, they just bounce off. In real life, most people won't look at you like this. They won't look at you like, are you crazy? What did you just say to me? But online, they just bounce off. They don't even mind being rude. And so here's an example. This is Myrtis Wells. And she had this thing where she took 20 minutes to tell you what she did. And she went to a luncheon where she was really wanted to make some good connections, and a woman asked her what she did, and she went into her thing, and she said literally the woman's eyes glazed over, like that look where they're looking right at you, but they're thinking, okay, tonight for dinner we're going to do spaghetti and meatballs, and I got to take the kid to soccer, they're not with you at all, right? And so what did we do? We took what her attraction plan, where she did her attraction plan on the attraction playbook, and she had some words that reflected her purpose, and I asked her what her purpose was. And when we talked, she kept saying over and over again something about answering her spiritual calling and helping others to do the same. And she said those words, answer my spiritual calling, or answer their spiritual calling. And we made up some fun text, which was like, hello, it's 3:33 in the morning. Hello, it's your soul calling. What are you doing in that job that you hate, right? So she's one of her words was mystic. One of her words was metaphysical. So those were words that reflected the kind of the tone of her offering, and spiritual calling. And she did stuff for her. She did help people with their relationships. She was like a life coach. She was a business coach. But we decided that her people were career women. And we just figured that out through some conversations. That's who she wanted to work with. And that she wanted to identify as a career, like a career coach, but she was going to be called the career mystic. So this is where we take her word mystic and put it next to her offering, which is career, and you come up with career mystic. And we took her 20-minute thing and put it down to, I use metaphysical tools to empower career women to answer their spiritual calling at work, at home, and in the world. So she took 20 minutes down to, and most of it was, I use metaphysical tools to empower, and then who? Career women to do what? To answer their spiritual calling in all areas of their life. And here's a design that we did for her that brought together, and I'll talk about aesthetic later, but we brought together some of her aesthetic to reveal who she is. So even more quickly than saying this sentence, when you look at it, you kind of know that she's mystical. So what should you share if not all the details of what you do? What you should share is your purpose, your gifts, your authentic voice, what's important to you. So you want to engage them in a conversation about what you're up to. Okay? Tammy, no one else has joined yet? Okay. Just wanted to make sure no one was sitting there waiting. So when you use those words I call your soul words or tick words, when you use words that reflect your soul in your marketing, people who are a match to you are drawn to you by their intuition, like Iyanla was drawn to me, because like attracts like. So this is the law of attraction. And especially when we're just inundated with lies, you know, and fakey fake and overly polished. When you show up real, people notice. And when you say things that are true, it's a magnet for the people that are looking for that. Okay. So attractive copywriting tip: write your sales site copy, your site copy. I mean, it isn't always sales, but your descriptive copy, your content. Write it from the heart as if you were writing a dear friend, because you are. Write to them about what's important about what you're doing and the why behind it. And make sure that there's a call to action, like give me a call or download my thing, on every single page. So if you could do these two things, just write it, write your copy from the heart, and make sure to have a call to action. You'll have reasonably decent copy on your website. Sometimes you'll need help editing it, but at least to get started, that's my recommendation. So if you'd like, you can start that today and just write down 3 words that reflect your passion and purpose. Think about what if you could bring it down to 3 words, what would they be? And if you'd like to share them in our chat box, we'd love to see that. But once you start writing them down and you start sharing it, that just becomes part of that conversation that you're having with the world. That's authentic. It's really the beginning stages of your marketing. So while you're writing down your 3 words, I'm going to share what is the seldom used secret ingredient for attracting divinely aligned clients online. And this is something that over the last 20 years I've noticed like nobody talks about. And this is what I call your authentic aesthetic. So often you can go to any designer. A reasonable designer is going to create a good design. I mean, all reasonably good designers know how to create a design that people will say that's a nice design. What they don't generally do is what is called authentic design. They're designing, they might say, oh, you're attracting leaders in the corporation, so then you should use blue and you should use pictures of people in corporate. And, you know, it's like almost literal kind of styling by demographic that often happens. What I like to do instead is discover what reflects your soul. How do we do that? By you creating what your aesthetic is. We actually have you create an aesthetic board, and we're calling it Vision Board Your Brand, where it's basically you're putting words, images, colors, style, symbology on a Pinterest board where you can see everything, and beginning to communicate what is beautiful to you. What is beautiful to you is it reveals your soul. So like Christine, who Tammy knows from JVX, right? She writes letters that help people reconnect. So they're called Inspired Heart Letters. Her middle name is Rose, and we had this picture of her that looks like she's wearing roses on her. And so we used like a really soft rose illustration in the background. And the pink and stuff. It just really reflects who she is. Whereas then we have a contrast. Here's Melbra. She's a shamanic, coach. She guides you on the adventure of your soul, and really she's out there. This is like kind of outer space in a sense. And then Carolyn is yet another, like more, like she does leadership coaching. She's an environmentalist. She does retreats outdoors. She wanted it to be kind of, not wild or anything, but also reveal who she is. So you can see faster than you read. When your aesthetic is revealed through your website, people kind of know you as if they've met you. And beauty is your connection to the divine. So express your purpose beautifully, and your soul tribe will be divinely attracted to you. This is Carrie. Carrie's new aesthetic helped her double her practice. She basically filled her practice for like 5 years after we just started talking about a new website for her this year. But it's been keep bringing her a full practice ever since we did this, like a number of years. Actually, it was about 5 years ago. Before, she was really trying to explain everything that she did. And then after, it's really an expression of her essence. I want to show you how this works. And this is something that you can do whether we work together or you work with somebody else or you're just doing this for yourself. This is an example of Ariella, who, this is her aesthetic board. Okay, so this is a Pinterest board. And she started pinning things in here, flowers and different kinds of flowers and stuff. You're not seeing the whole thing, but when I went to go look at this, it was obvious to me that she really liked flowers, okay, and that her tagline had something about seeds in it, and I'll show that to you. But so first what she does is she says, I like flower, those are the symbols. She also had colors and fonts that she liked. And she thought she had some ideas that she wanted to try, but these didn't work. The flowers were too big. But we were just as in the part of the process. So this was the exact photo that we wanted of her. And we kind of just were doing a little trial and error with how do we put her with flowers. So eventually we picked some actually flowers that really worked better, that were smaller and just had a better feel. We found she had this logo that she needed and her photo. And this is how we ended up putting it all together. So she had a quote, beliefs are seeds that will one day flower into realities, and she's a transformational coach. So this is how we take something that is, just an aesthetic and put it together to something really beautiful that expresses who she is. And then this is her before, right? She thought like her before was reasonably good. It was like just the sun coming through the logo and stuff. But after, she really feels like it's a self-expression for who she is and who she really wants to connect with. This is Rich's before. So Rich, Tammy and I both Rich basically brought us together. He's the founder of Joint Venture Insider Circle. And his website was like the coach's coach, and it's all like I'm on TV and I wear a suit and, rah, rah. It's got like all this stuff on there, and it's just really, actually what happened was he started becoming known as an ocean activist because he was paddle boarding with whales. And he was getting interviews from around the world. But when they saw this website, he was really embarrassed because it didn't say anything about who he really was. It was his fakey fake website, okay? It was his, like, fake it till you make it, kind of website, really. And so this is what we came up with. Much different, right? It's like it's using his artwork, his photography of whales, and a great photo of him in his natural, what he always looks like. T-shirt, whale necklace, tan. That's that slightly scruffy beard, not quite shaven. Out on the water, paddleboarding. And that's what he's about. And it's no ocean, no us, no ocean, no us is his slogan. This was Michelle that we said earlier that increased her thing by 600%, her sales of her DVD on death. She and I, we had a little tiff because she didn't want to show up on her banner. And I just thought she was really beautiful. She did this trance dance thing. And anyways, we ended up with this incredibly beautiful thing where she's trance dancing with the universe. And this is who she really is, but she was showing up a little too straight before. So now she says she's living a more authentic life and embodying herself more and more since we came up with this brand. This is her. She was worried. She was really worried that these universities that were buying her DVDs were just not going to like the real her, because look how wild she is. She's not like, she was normally like, I'm going to look like a librarian so that these universities will buy my DVDs. And now she gets to be herself, which, I'm just going to go way back to where she's just way more Michelle now. So I'm really happy to have been a part of that for her. Where did we go? And this was Yanla's before and after. She got a lot of free stuff. And this was all channeled directly from God through her. She'd say, God told me pink. I'm like, okay, we're going to do it if God says. This is Barbara. Barbara's reasonably good. She was making her own graphic designs and her own websites and stuff before. But 10 years ago, we created this, and still every day she gets comments about how beautiful it is. It reflects her in a much more deeper way, not just intellectually. This is one of my favorites because Robert, he's one of these, real scientific kind of healer-y guys who has like all this background, kind of medical type ontogenics, holistic mind-body healing system with like 50 paragraphs of text, right? And so let's just imagine that you're in trauma. You are in trauma for some reason. You're having anxiety attacks or something. Somebody just died and you're like freaked out. Your husband died or something, or something terrible happened to you and lost everything and you're in trauma, or you just can't get over something that happened to you as a child. Do you want to read 50 paragraphs of scientific information? No. So we came down to just 3 words: trauma to tranquility. And it says trauma to tranquility, your personal revolution. That's it. Trauma to tranquility is what he's all about. Isn't that all you need to say? And then when you look at it, you notice right away it's heart-based, it's balanced, it has some kind of spiritual components to it, and also science. So your visual brand can reveal a lot instantly without you having to have all these words. Okay. So the next piece. Now, nobody's asked any questions or anything, have they, Tammy? Nothing in the chat field or anything? Ah, okay, good. Whoops, let me go back. Where did we go? Okay, here we go. So what do you need on your site? And this is, Tammy and I are marketers and we both talk about funnels, okay? So just get ready because funnel talk is coming, okay? So what do you need on your site to make sure the prospects connect with you? And so many times I go and I do my website review and they don't have any way to connect with them except for a contact form, if that. Or maybe a phone number or an email, which is terrible to put on your website. It's like, please spam me, if you put your email on your website. So what do you need? You really need a great offer, like an irresistible offer that gets them started working with you in a low pressure setting, so that you can call them later and include an invitation to connect with you. Now, if you have a business where they're just going like you want to try to automate yours, it may not lead to a connection with you privately. It may lead to more like a webinar like this, where they can connect with you, you know, in a group, or just, it may be videos or some handouts that they feel like they can get into the process a little bit. And it wants to look kind of like this. You have your freebie, and then that goes into some kind of, let's say, a webinar and or a connection with you, right? So it could actually lead directly to a private connection with you, or it could lead through some kind of a training. And you want to make sure it flows right into what you're offering. So sometimes people have a great idea for a freebie, but it doesn't really bring business. Hey, Tammy, do you want to say anything about this? I know you're like a real expert at this.
I love what Julie has here. Julia does a ton of one-on-one sessions for her packages. That's like probably your biggest thing, hey, Julia?
What?
Would be putting people into one-on-one sessions and then putting them into a package of a done-for-you package.
Yeah, that's mostly what I do, because I tend not to, do a lot of programs like you see where their program is selling right from the webinar.
Yeah, and I'd say one of the biggest things, if you're going to get people on the phone with you, is they have to have that trust factor with you and really feel that there's a connection with you in order to be willing to get on the phone with you. And so that's why I love what Julia has here, is because her pages and the look and feel of them inspire that trust. And here's what I know about your clients, Julia. When they find the pages and they see the page, they just feel like it's for them.
Right.
And that can move them through to a phone call much more quickly.
Yes, definitely. Well, yes, when people come and they see my thing, or they start doing their attraction plan, they feel like they're working with me already. They feel like they know me already. And they feel like I get them. And that's because, like when we were talking about earlier, I've selected my tribe. I've selected people who come through and end up talking with me. They're aligned with me because I'm authentic, and they already know that by seeing my thing, right? So even just looking at the design, they can tell right away, like, if they're going to like it or not. So some people say, well, how much should I give away? I'm all worried, I already give away too much, right? So I actually like what Frank Kern says about this. And Frank Kern is like a surfer marketer guy from LA who's like the most popular copywriter or something like whatever. But he's like your typical money-making kind of marketing guy. He doesn't make any bones about it. He wants to make money. That's what he's all about. And he says, give super generously, like really super generously. Make it so that when they see that, they wonder what you could possibly be charging for, with how great your freebie is. So give generously first. Law of reciprocity says you'll receive in return. And there's something else that I want to say about this. When you are sharing your purpose through your marketing, you actually want it to get out to as many people as possible. So consider that the transformation that you want to provide the world, that is the transformation you want to give away for free. And then you're going to work privately with those who want to go deeper. But consider that like 95% of the people ever seeing your stuff are never going to buy from you. Even the ones that download your stuff, it's probably less percentage, right? Most of the time, they're not. There's the first level, they're just seeing your stuff and they're not downloading. How can your marketing message get across to them before they've even downloaded anything, so that like I said, your authentic self is what's important. They walk away with your message even if they don't download your thing. The next thing is they download your thing. They may not be buying from you, but you want them to have that transformation that you provide. And then the third level is, of course, they're hiring you. So consider your marketing. Most of the people that you're doing the marketing for are not going to buy from you, but you still want to provide them a transformation. So consider that. So what key step might you be resisting that could make or break the success of your site? And that is actually promoting your site. So a lot of times people think, I got a website. Now I don't, and they brag like, I'm not on Facebook. Haha. Like I'm thinking that's not something to brag about when you're trying to run a business. Because whether you like it or not, you have to be on these sites to be found. So Facebook, this is an RSS feed, like your blog, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube. So you need to kind of be everywhere online. And you need to be like, I'm on all these social media, I'm doing groups, I've got my email marketing going on. You've got to be kind of active. You can't be hiding out, okay? So no hiding. And you can't be bragging that you don't know what Twitter is or something like that. You don't have to be on Twitter every day, but you should have a profile and you should have your blog feeding into there, and you ought to be, creating some kind of content on a regular basis so that people know what you're about. Okay, let's get into the 5 elements to your wildly attractive website. So we basically covered all this, but I'll be reviewing it in this condensed form for you. So and this sort of leads into exactly what we do for people, just so that you know. These are the 5 steps that I take my clients through when they want to get out online. So the first part is the brand clarity. Who are you attracting? What are you saying to them? What are you offering them, and how do you present it? How do you express what makes you unique? How do you inspire a connection with the people that you want to attract? That's your brand clarity piece. That needs to happen first before you do any marketing. Most people don't do this ever. I mean, I don't know where we got to thinking that we don't need to clarify this stuff, but we launch right into, doing some kind of specific marketing campaign or something like that. The second element to your wildly attractive website is your clear, engaging copywriting. This is probably the biggest stop that people have, unless I'm helping them. It's just like, how to write, but then you just get into your brain about what you're supposed to be saying and how long it's supposed to be and exactly how you're going to inspire them to take the action. And it can be intimidating to where you're just sitting there in front of a blank page not doing anything. So like I gave you the tip before, one way to just get started is by writing as if writing a letter to your perfect customer, and just say what you need to say authentically and ask them to connect with you. Even if it's not like Frank Kern worthy copy, that it doesn't almost matter, because people are going to respond to your authentic voice. And then you can take that and work with somebody like me or an editor or a copywriter if you want to finesse it more. But really start with your authentic voice. And it's better to have your authentic voice than some fakey thing, even if it's not perfectly written. Okay, you don't need to be perfect first. Done is better than perfect, as they say. Now, here's the part that you're likely not going to be able to do yourself, even with Canva, though you can go up to Canva, take your aesthetic choices and combine them and see if you can come up with something reasonably good. This is an example of a branded banner design I did for Archana. And similar to what I showed you, what I did with Ariella, we had all of these elements and combined them to reveal what she's about. She's a medical, mystical, intuitive. She's got like a dragon in there. She needed land, water, beach, and sky. The sky is kind of nebula. This is her logo symbol. That's a mandala. She's Indian. This is an Indian kind of an image. So you're able to attract people from the soul when you use your authentic aesthetic. We do banner design for a website and then resize it for all your social media so everything matches. The fifth part, or the fourth, is this the fourth part? The fourth part, the fourth key element is a website that you can actually update yourself. Okay, so we like WordPress. A lot of people are using Wix. They're using Squarespace, Weebly. Those are tools, and let me just share with you why we prefer WordPress. Is those tools like Wix and Weebly, they are closed systems. That means that once you're in there, you cannot move away from them. You have to pay them for hosting. You cannot change your website outside of their system. You can't really customize it beyond what their themes allow you to do. So once you're in their system, you're stuck. With WordPress, it's an open system. There are millions of programmers who can help you customize your site in any number of ways. So you can get literally tens of thousands of themes, if not more, to choose from, and a much wider audience to help you with it. And then you get to make more choices about what you want. You can have your programmers make it the way you want it, which you cannot do in these other programs. So we like WordPress, and now we use the Divi theme, D-I-V-I theme, which allows us to actually edit on the front end. So you can edit and see what it looks like while you're editing, which is amazing, and you don't have to be a programmer to do it. The fifth part that I've been trying to ignore for 20 years is SEO. We call it SEO with scruples now. There are smart adjustments that you can make to your site that increase your organic site traffic. So Tammy's all about ads that bring you direct traffic from Facebook. And what I'm talking about here is like something that you would add to your website to get organic traffic, which is sort of just, it's harder to get in a way if you don't know what you're talking about here. So you need to discover what your keywords are that you're going to be found for, and then make your website findable for those things. So there's certain things and adjustments that you do to your site. Like one thing I'll tell you that I just learned is that you want a different page for each of your services. So I had one page for all my services. Recently, I just changed it so that services is an overview of the kinds of services that we do, but then when you click on it on my site, it brings a drop-down menu that has, you know, brand clarity, logo design, copywriting, and what spiritual website design, I think, is the topics that I have there. So what that does is it gives Google more information about each specific service, and you don't compete with yourself on one page. Having all these services on one page makes it so that you're kind of, it negates each, and Google doesn't know what it's really about, and it says you're not about anything. So that kind of smart adjustments, those are good to know. What can you do? There are plugins. There's one that we've been using called Yoast, Y-O-A-S-T, that really helps page to page you to set up your website SEO. So a brand and website that represents your uniqueness, it's just going to have more attractive results all around. So you like it, you're going to use it more, and other people are going to respond to it better. This is Anne, and she's She attracted over 100 new opt-ins and 7 new clients in the first month after launching her new website. So here's where we come to, if you want to get a website analysis with me. So if you don't have a website yet, you can still get a website analysis, and the analysis will be what kind of website do you need, if any. Okay, so there's a small percentage of people that just don't need a website, and then there's people who need only, let's say, a simple website or an opt-in funnel of some kind, and most people need a full website if you have a business. But we can analyze what you need. If you do have a website, we'll look at what's working about it. What are the goals that you have? What's not working? How do you feel about it? And then come up with a list of, here are the changes that you're going to need. Like sometimes people have a reasonably good website. They just don't have a brand. And so I don't necessarily suggest, oh, we redo your whole website when all you need is a brand. So we can look at, what do you really need, and what are your next steps? And then if there's something that I can provide you, I'll give you a proposal for how I can help you. The Magical Marketing team and I can help you. I do have a team. I don't do this all myself. I have programmers, and I have a design assistant and SEO assistant that help me with various aspects. So you're not just waiting for me to do everything for all of my clients. You can apply for that. I've opened my calendar for 6 of these. magicalwebsiteanalysis.com, and what you do is you just fill out my questionnaire. I do ask you some questions about your business. It should only take you a couple of minutes to fill those out. But no, I don't share your information with anyone. It's just for me to know exactly how to help you. Oh, Gail's been writing us. Okay, Gail likes Frank Kern. Okay, I do too. I've been watching him for 10 years. He's very honest. I mean, for people that say they're about money, and he says he's about money, you know, he doesn't try to lie like he's really an altruistic guy or something. Fun thunderstorms here. Okay, great. All right. So if anyone has questions for me or Tammy, oh, it's not dial *2 on this. Sorry. You can maybe, how does it work?
They can either type in the chat box or come on mic. They can unmute themselves.
You can unmute yourself and ask, but does anyone have any questions? Or, you know, we can even talk about like your specific challenges.
Julia, can I dive in for 1 second?
Yes.
When you get on the phone or on Zoom, you do it on Zoom, right, Julia?
Yeah.
For those calls. Julia is so good at seeing the instant things that you could tweak on your website to make it better. But not only that, but the strategy where you're going to be able to, when you have clients go to your website, where they're going to be more likely to book those strategy sessions with you or buy from you. So I do highly recommend that you book that session with her, even if it's for that session. But ultimately, if you're looking to have any sort of branding package done, or your website redone or started if you don't have a website, the reason I don't normally bring people on who talk about websites, because most websites they're just a waste of time. Julia's websites are designed to bring you in clients. So that's why I invited Julia to come on with you guys here today. If this has been niggling in the back of your mind that this is something that you need, either in terms of the website or the branding, I do highly encourage you to book that session with her, so you can figure out what you need. And even further than that, if that call, depending on what happens on that call, Julia is going to make some recommendations for you. I do highly encourage you to think about moving forward with her. I'm going to give away a little bit of your secret. I hope this is okay, Julia.
Okay.
Her packages start at a really reasonable cost, much more reasonable than many packages that I've seen. Most branding packages are 15, 20 grand or more. And Julia has some options here that are very reasonable, especially if you're newer or you haven't been bringing in a ton of clients yet.
Mm-hmm.
The branding or the website might be part of the issue for you. And so that's why having Julia with her eyes on it is going to be huge. Every time I talk to Julia, she's always giving me insights. So for example, the candies and things that you see on the back table here, that was based on a conversation from Julia. She's like, just add some jars of candy on the back thing. is fun. And that's just my whole personality. I get excited about things. I'm not all smooth and cool about things and all that. And Julia can bring those insights to you. Now, obviously, I'd done a branding package already for her to be able to tie in those elements to the package of what my look and feel was. So doing that package, bringing out your authentic message is going to be so huge for you. And I think one thing that we miss out on, when I thought branding package, I thought graphics. I thought this is going to be about, the graphics got to fit with my personality and what I'm about. But here is the benefit that I didn't really realize out of it, is that every piece of my marketing, every piece of my business suddenly got clearer because I knew the decision that I was going to make based on the branding work that I'd done. The decision-making process was way easier. Was I going to make my landing page look like this, or was I going to make it look like that? It was a clear path. My message in my emails was so much clearer, and everything feels much more pulled together in a way easier fashion. So, sorry, Julie, I wanted to...
Oh, thanks, Tammy. Well, that is true. Most times when you're talking about branding, people think about visuals, which is part of it. It's part of your self-expression. But one thing that I'll share about you is that, see, Tammy, first of all, one thing I'm working with Tammy now is to be more braggadocious, okay? But she's very, what's the word? Not braggadocious, okay? Because she's giving presentations on Facebook ads, it's kind of a male-dominated field. There's a lot of men in business. You're supposed to be really serious and suited up, right? And so Tammy was worried about being her fun, effervescent, bubbly self. This is the way she really is. Some people are fakey. They try to be that. This is what she's really like. And so that's why we came up with more of that fun and let's just let you have fun, and it's not funny. So we distinguished that too. It's not about being a stand-up comedian and trying to make jokes that make people laugh. It's about being fun and bubbly and upbeat, even though you're dealing with Facebook ads, which some people feel make them uptight to think about because it's technology, right?
And the branding package is what shifted that for me, right? Like I would get in front of an audience and I would feel compelled to be in the zone about being serious and analytical, which I am too, but working with Julia gave me permission and to identify and bring out those elements of me that I am in my regular life, and that has allowed me to convert so much better, bring in the clients who I love working with so much more. And so, yeah.
And here's another thing that I want to say about this call, because what I talk about purpose, right? And I really love to connect with people. So I want you to know that when we connect, this is not a heavy sales thing. I want to make sure that if you're spending the time to connect with me, that you're going to get value out of the conversation, whether we work together or not. So that when you walk away from that conversation, you feel like you know at least one thing that you can do to your site to improve its attractability to your tribe. So know that I'm not going to pressure you that it's really going to be a comfortable conversation where I'm getting to know you, I'm getting to know what you're up to, and I have a million ideas. If I weren't allowed to talk to people and give my ideas away, I think I would get a headache. So allow me to give you some ideas for your marketing. And then if it turns out you would like to have me help you further, then great. If not, then I, love to stay connected or whatever works for you. So just know that there's just a no pressure deal here. Does anyone have any questions about anything that we said today, or something in marketing that's you've been wondering about, or you're confused and you really would like a straight answer? Because that's another thing that we can do here that you don't always get.
It's so true, right?
I don't see anything in the chat.
I am not seeing anything either. Julia, could you share a little bit about some of the ways that you work with clients?
Well, if we go back to what I was saying, like the 5 keys, what I have done, because I noticed that what you said, that sometimes people just haven't gotten off the ground yet. And so there's not several thousand, people, whatever, they don't have enough money to invest. I've divided up my whole thing, and I'll get to you in a second, Carol. I've divided up my offering into pieces, steps, so that you can actually get just the brand clarity part separated from design or website. And generally that's where people start. And sometimes if you're limited on funds, that's a great place to start, because at least then who are you attracting, what's your message, and what you're going to offer them, and have a little bit of a marketing plan to get out there and start engaging with people. The second step is the copywriting, especially if we're going towards a website. But sometimes that copy could be a speech. Let's say if you don't have a website, but you're giving signature speeches, then we would have like copy for like your speaker sheet, or what your speech is, or your presentation. But most of the time I'm doing copywriting for a website. That is, what's your home page, what's your about page, how your various services pages, and how do those, how are you going to get those out, writing those literally. The next step after that, I do the brand aesthetic. So that's a design of a banner usually. Though sometimes a company, they may want a logo, especially if they have products or if they're more of a group. And so I go into a logo design, which is really a custom. All of my design processes and all my processes are collaborative. So I get on with my clients and we look and create it together. Like when we created a little Facebook faucet thing for Tammy, it's like, here are the people that we want flying out of the faucet. We're doing this together. And I'm saying, well, do you like this over here? Oh, maybe that should be a little farther over there, kind of thing. So that we're working together, so you really like the result. Then I get together with my team if we're doing a website, and we create the website. We do it in Divi, which is the theme family that we're using, and create each page to inspire an action, and also inside of a structure that you can update yourself eventually. And then we also have an SEO package where I have an SEO partner, and what we do is we determine what are your 5 best keyword phrases and then integrate those into your website. So that's pretty much.
And the work that I initially did with Julia was the brand clarity.
Yes.
Which was a huge chunk, because I needed to get up and running in a hurry when I first got started. And so I just started I had a 1-page offer,
right,
on a sheet of paper. And that's how I brought in clients for the first few months. And that's when I met Julia. And so that brand clarity made honestly, it was a huge pivotal point in my business, because it just gave me so much clarity, not just on on my look, my feel, my copy, what my entire business was going to be about. So I did that piece with her. And then I did some of the graphic pieces with her as well. She came up with the concept of the faucet with the people and the money coming out of it and all those things. So that's how I worked with Julia. So
Carol, do you want to be unmuted? Or do you want to just, let's see. I think you just click your own.
I unmuted her.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Hi, Carol.
Hi.
So you were saying that let's say, what is your offer?
Well, we have, it's a health company, and it has quite a few different products, including for athletes per se, and just people in general for vitamins and all, and also for weight loss. And, just.
So is this like a network marketing company, or is this like your own business where you've got the products?
No, it's a network marketing.
And so do they give you a website?
They do, yes. But it's just to get to people.
That's where you have to get the people to go to there, right? Yes. Yeah. So I've definitely worked with network marketers, and I think that it's a specific challenge. What you need to do is distinguish what makes you unique. So I know that you want to talk about how are you going to appeal to specific people when everyone needs your products, okay? Yeah, everyone needs to be healthy. But there are certain reasons why you were attracted to those products to begin with, and who you are and what's important to you. Like when I used to do Amazon Herb Company, what was important to me about Amazon herbs? They were wildcrafted. They were from the Amazon rainforest. They were supporting indigenous tribes. So everyone in Amazon herbs was about that, but some people were more about health, some people were more about the tribes or whatever. But still, just talking about all that was still the same as everyone else in this groovy company, right?
Right.
And so then I had to distinguish myself, and that's when I started coming out with the magic part. That's exactly why I came up with magic, was to distinguish myself from other people in Amazon herbs. This was when my business was called Graphic Girls, and I was just doing graphic design and websites. Like I wasn't doing a lot of marketing back then. Let's say in 2002, 2003. And so I came up with Life is Magic, and people started telling me that they had done searches for Amazon herbs and saw my Life is Magic Amazon herb distributor. Mm-hmm. And they chose me because, similar to Iyanla, they saw that word magic. And they told me this. That's how I started knowing that it was specific words that distinguished me from other people that were even doing the exact same thing as I was. And so the first step for you would be to really go within, download that thing. I'll put it up again, the link for it. It's just getstap.com is the attraction plan, and start getting into what are you about, and what are your words, and how can you start distinguishing yourself. So if I were doing what's the company that you're with?
It's Max, MAX, International.
Max, okay, I haven't heard of that one. But let's say if I were doing Max, guess what it would be called?
Live life to the max?
No, I would say Magical Max.
Oh, okay. Magical Max.
Now you get it. Okay.
And take a look at the free resource that Julia did. And Julia, would you recommend that would fit in with the brand clarity session that you did?
Yes, absolutely. Since you already have your own website, you probably just need to distinguish yourself through your messaging, and probably a lead funnel of some kind.
Okay.
But if the thing is, some people that are doing network marketing are also wanting to be hired as an advisor, like a health advisor.
That's what I have on my card, health advisor.
So are you being paid as a health advisor, or do you just give that free when they buy from you?
I just give that free when they buy from me, because I was a registered nurse. So,
See, that might be part of your thing, right? So I was a registered nurse and I saw what was happening to people and I got tired and everyone else was tired and I started taking these and I started feeling better.
I can beat that because I'll tell you, my husband and I both had cancer.
Wow.
And now we're taking it so we don't get cancer again.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, so exploring what really, that kind of thing. I was a nurse. I had cancer. My husband had cancer. We're taking this, our blood work is amazing, So how to put that, we don't want to put that into a litany of things
Right.
like artists had, right? We want to make sure that we're cohesive and concise so that you can go anywhere and know exactly what to say.
Yeah.
And you're saying it, you're really speaking to your people. You don't necessarily have to identify them. You don't have to say, I'm speaking only to spiritual people, business owners, or something like that. Just saying certain words has those people attracted to you.
Okay.
So it is about being authentic.
You've got
Okay.
a few more.
Is that helpful, Carol?
Yes, that's very good. Thank you.
A few more questions in there, Julia, as well.
Yeah, I see that. Okay, so let's mute Carol. And can we unmute you, Kai?
Okay.
Kay.
You have the control to unmute her now, Julia.
Ah,
I
Kay.
unmuted myself. Hi.
Hi.
Julia.
All right, so you're saying it takes a lot of time and energy to put out information. It's a big deal to put out a short newsletter to your list once a month. Is it? I'm slowly writing enough to create meaningful blog. What info would you put on a website to keep it current? So are you saying that writing is really hard for you?
Yeah, when I'm not inspired. I can only write when I have inspiration. So if I'm thinking about something else, so like right now I'm writing my freebie, a new PDF, and then I want to write my new webinar. So I don't have enough time and ideas to be putting out stuff. And this happens. I mean, this is right now, but it just happens so often that I don't know how to keep a website current.
Yeah, you may need help. So what's your business?
I help introverted women with relationship issues.
Okay. Good. Okay. Most of my clients are introverts, and I actually have another client who's helping introverted women with their businesses. So I'm familiar with the topic. One thing that I'd like to say is that once you have your branding breakthrough, so when you're really clear on your brand and what makes you unique and who your tribe is and why you're attracted to them and why you're uniquely qualified to serve them and how they're part of your soul, there's much more inspiration there for creating content. And I'm not saying that you have to write. You can speak into a microphone. You can do videos. You can write if you like. But there's a way to get your content out that's your style. And that's another thing that I help people with is, what is your style of marketing? Everyone's got their idea of what you should be doing. You should be doing podcasts now. You should be doing Facebook Live. You should have a blog. You should this, you should that. And then if you hate it, you're not going to do it. So we got to figure out what you're willing to do, what is exciting for you to do, and what's the best way for you to do it. Right. And then get that in order. And you may need help. Like I create content. I do blog post writing for people. Yes, that's an investment, but it's an investment in continuously updating your site. And what does that do? Well, your site, you do need to continuously update it. So you need to update, even if you just put a new photo on your homepage, or you put up a new blog, or you updated something on your services page. Google sees that and says, this is a website that's being updated. But what happens is that most people get frustrated and they don't update their website and they say, I haven't updated it in a year and a half. At that point, Google doesn't even know you exist. They are not sending you people if you're not updating your site. So if it turns out that you are stuck, one way is helping with your brand, see if that unlocks some of your creative juices. Generally, I'll tell you that when we come up with the right brand, the million ideas just kind of flow out of that. But before we do that, sometimes it's a struggle. And then, you know, if you need help actually creating content, you know, we can talk about that. There's a variety of ways. Not only could you have people somebody like me creating custom content for you, you can also purchase content. You can purchase programs. I just learned about this, okay? But you can actually purchase either like programs to sell. They're like, you can, they're in your industry if you like, or you can buy articles and things, or you can have other people's stuff that's in alignment with you. So those are just a couple of ideas. Is that helpful?
Yes, I totally believe what you're saying. The brand, the exactly going toward the, you know, what I can say, like, yeah, being me, you know, it opens up a whole lot more to say. I totally believe that. I mean, I like writing is what I'm most comfortable with, because at least then I can do it over days and slowly, you know,
Yeah.
go back on it and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, no, I'm just wondering, because I also have this website where I was thinking, yeah, I mean, it's getting into too much detail. Maybe I can just.
And I know Tammy has to go, but I can stay and answer more questions. I don't want to keep you when I know you have to
We'll
leave.
have to run, but Kay, I'm going to suggest that you book that session with Julia. And that way she'll be able to answer all those questions for you as well.
Yeah, I just.
Yes,
I think I'll do that.
I'd love to connect with you and get more deeply into it with you, and like, what's it going to cost to do this or that, and so that see if it fits in your budget and stuff like that.
Sure.
Thank you. So I do apologize. I'm going to leave you guys in Julia's capable hands. I'm leading a mentoring call for my peeps.
Thanks, Tammy.
I do see you have a question from Amanda in there as well.
I did. I'm going to answer it. I promise, Amanda. I'm going to get right to it.
Love you, Julia. Thanks.
Love you too.
Everyone.
Thank you. Was that helpful, Key?
Yes, thank you.
My pleasure. Okay. Let's see. Amanda, let's unmute you. Hi, Amanda. Are you unmuted? Or do you have a microphone? Maybe you can't speak. No mic. Okay. All right. So Amanda's question is, this is timely, getting ready to update my website to make it compatible with all devices and make it a new feel. I'm wondering if you can help with this issue with Google SEO changing and censoring health and wellness sites. My visibility has dropped 50 to 80% since March. Any thoughts? Well, I wouldn't be able to analyze that site without looking at all of your tools, but I was not aware that Google is censoring health and wellness sites. Okay, so I had not heard that, and I've been working closely with an SEO guy that works in health. So I'm not sure where you got that information. I would love to hear where you got that information so that I could look that up and find out from my guy if he has heard about that. Joseph Mercola, Josh Axe, and Green Med Info. You mean about, is this a CBD thing? Or I'm thinking Green Med Info might be CBD. I can look that up for you. But one thing that I know is that there are autism vaccinations, healthy alternatives. You know, I'd have to look that up, my dear, because really most of my clients are in that industry, and we've been doing a lot of SEO, and that has not come up. So I'm like, I haven't heard this, okay? And I don't know what they're saying, so I can look that up for you. But I let's just say we figured out what it is that's actually they're trying to block. There are synonyms. So like, let's say if this, I know for sure that this has been a problem with people who are in the sex industry, okay? Because what happens is that there's a lot of sex site blocking, and if you're using certain terminologies that they think it's a porn site, not like let's say if you were like a tantra counselor or something like that, there's synonyms or words that you can use that are not those triggering words that make Google think that you're what they're trying to block, okay? So you kind of need to figure out what exactly they're blocking, but there might be other reasons why your site visitorship has gone down. So if you're not continuously updating your site with new content, if you aren't analyzing what's going on with your site visitorships and what's exactly people are doing on the site, there's a variety of things that are just what we're talking about, standard, simple, Google friendly actions that you take, like making sure that you're on the business directory, making sure that you've got your keywords displayed in your headlines and stuff like that. Great, Amanda. I'm looking forward to talking with you about that. And here's what I can do. When you send me your link, I can do a little research and have my guy do a little research and find out if he's aware of this, what you're talking about. And then by the time that we meet, I'll have hopefully have some answers. Key thinks it's a political tactic to block alternative health businesses. I mean, that's what it sounds like, okay? But I haven't heard of it, so that's, it's news to me. Blog at least 2 times a month. I don't say diet, nutrition. I say food. Okay. So let's take a look. Sometimes, sometimes, Google stuff happens, and it's difficult to find out why, because they have 500 analytics. They have 500 algorithms that they change on a daily basis. So it is difficult to keep up on this stuff, but there are tools that you can use that can help you. But I'm more into direct marketing. So is Tammy. I like setting up the site so that it's reasonably SEO friendly. But if you get really involved in SEO, all those rules, it's a lot of time. It's a lot of time consuming, and it can get really expensive. And there's no guarantee, because if you're not Google, you can't really guarantee that a site is going to come up. Even if you buy Google ads, you can't be guaranteed that your ad is going to come up first. So that's why I like to make my website reasonably SEO friendly and then do a lot of direct marketing. Direct marketing is, joint ventures like this with Tammy, getting into giveaways, participating in say telesummits, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's a drag when you don't know why your numbers are dropping. So I think that what I would do just about that piece, if I were you, Amanda, is I would do a search outside of those people that gave you the information, and see if you can find anything in Google about that. Is Google stopping health sites, or is Google blocking health sites, or how to get around Google's blocks of health sites? And maybe other people, if this is really happening, other people have figured out a way around it. Maybe you could learn from them. That's one thing that I might suggest. All right. Any other questions for me today, or we can call it a day? I really want to thank you guys for coming and being with us, and I really like our little quaint gathering. I look forward to speaking to those of you who are signed up for the session with me. I love connecting with people like you and seeing if I can give you some ideas. All right. So, oh, 2 new messages. Okay, here we go. Bernadette said all the alternative health teachers are being censored by Google. GreenMed is a health teaching site. They block anyone questioning vaccine safety. Oh, poop. That's interesting. All right, thanks, Bernadette. Thanks, Key. Carol, Amanda, Jackie, I don't know how to say that, Jackie. Can I call you Jackie? All right. Thanks so much, everyone, and I hope to talk to you soon. Go forth and attract. Here's a little wand action for you today. Take care.